You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of God. The face of God. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are a part of me. A part of me. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu
of
sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are the
God.
face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
sei
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face
You
of God.
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of God.
ruh خدایی.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face of
Eres la luz de Dios.
You are the face of You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of God. The face of God. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are a part of me. A part of me. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu
of
sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face of God.
the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
sei
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
God. You are the face
Tu
of God.
ruh est chaudoyée.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
You are the face of
Good morning and welcome to Spiritual Life Center's online service. We're delighted that you could join us this morning, and we invite you now to join with us as we open this celebration with Surely the Presence.
can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
And let us now take a moment to acknowledge that power and presence within us and all around us in a moment of prayer. And so I invite you to go to that place within yourself where that you know that you are one with God. And loving Spirit, we come together this morning in joy and celebration of our growing awareness of your presence in our lives and in our world. And so together we bless this Sunday celebration. We bless our ability to be with one another through the internet. And we bless our lives and our growing awareness of Spirit in our lives. We bless this opportunity and we bless our commitment to living in a higher way. We bless these things in the name and through the power of the living, loving, and indwelling Christ. And so it is. Amen.
Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. When I feel afraid, think I've lost my way, still you're there right beside me. And nothing will I fear as long as you are near. Please be near me to the end. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And I will not forget your love for me, and yet my heart forever is wandering. Jesus, be my guide and hold me to your side, and I will love you to the end. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, and a light unto my path. You're the light unto my path.
And so let us take a moment now inside of ourselves, a moment in the quiet space where we can acknowledge our oneness in spirit in a time of prayer and meditation. And as we center our attention on this space within where God resides and God expresses, let us rest into that peaceful presence of God that surrounds and enfolds us. Perhaps paying attention to the breath, allowing yourself to breathe in a way that's natural, easy, not just noticing the breath and not trying to change it, just relaxing into the breath. The breath is an activity, a sacred activity of life. We breathe in oxygen. We breathe in the very presence of Spirit. And as we breathe in the presence of Spirit, we find ourselves, we find that place of oneness in God. And resting into the pure presence of being, we release all the activity of the day. We release our concerns and our prayer requests. We release all thoughts other than being in this sweet presence of God. The heart is open wide for this inflow of spirit. And the heart comes into harmony with the breath in a sacred rhythm of love and light. Open and receptive to this inflow of love and light, we allow the words of this meditation to be our own, to be the affirmations of our minds and hearts as we rest into the pure presence of being. Here I am, Lord. I am awake in you. In this quiet place, I stand in the presence of God. I know that I stand upon holy ground, for all ground is indeed holy. There is only one power, one presence, one activity. And so there is only one ground upon which to stand, and that is holy ground. The pure substance of being upon which all things stand. And so in this quiet time of prayer, I stand on holy ground. I stand in the pure presence of being. And I become aware and claim my oneness and wholeness in God. Affirming, here I am, Lord. I am awake. I stand in you. Speak, Lord. I am listening. Awakened to the pure presence of being, I listen for the stirring of inner guidance. I know that God is within me, and I wait upon the Spirit of God continually flowing through me. Each cell of my physical body vibrates anew as I rest into the one power, one presence, one activity, God the Good. Tingling with the quickening power of spirit, I listen with ears that hear for the still small voice in the silence of my soul. Here I am, Lord. Guide me, use me, flow through me, express as me. I am awakened to the image of God that expresses as me. I am a perfect child of God, and I have inherited perfect health, infinite wisdom, and unconditional love. The I am of me, the God expression of me, stands ready, willing, and able to practice unconditional love, to live in compassion, to breathe the very breath of spirit in the world, to hold the highest and greatest vision for myself, for my loved ones, and for all beings. I am a perfect child of God, and I express God right here, right now, right where I am. And as I return my attention now to this time and this place, I give thanks, for I know that truly God is, and I am, and so it is. And taking a breath, returning the attention to the breath and bringing ourselves into this time and this place. I invite you to join together as we sing and pray our Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
There's a voice that's softly whispering inside my head, telling me I'm gonna be alright. It keeps saying, let yourself be led where you are led. Don't hold back, don't put up a fight. It tells me trust the wind, breathe the air. There's a place you're meant to be and you're already there. Open up your heart and let life in. You know that you can always trust the wind. When the world starts doing things that I don't understand, I search my soul to find a reason why. In the dark of night, I feel somebody take my hand and tell me you don't even have to try, for you can trust the wind, breathe the air, and know that there are helping hands around you everywhere. Open up your heart and let life in. You know that you can always trust the wind. Dreams have wings, thoughts take flight. All good things are streaming toward us. Every day they hear our prayers. They know the way. I'm gonna trust the wind, breathe the air. Let me take it on its wings and carry me somewhere. I'll open up my heart and let life in. I know wherever breezes blow, wherever winding rivers flow, I'm going where I need to go. I can trust the wind.
Good morning again. I am so delighted to be with you this morning and sharing this talk, My Way or the Highway. My way being the way of the ego, the personality, the self that believes itself to be separate, to be vulnerable. And often when obstacles appear, my way takes on either the role of the victim or the victor. The higher way The higher way being the way of the higher self, the power of God expressing as divine will, functions as the vessel consciousness, allowing God to flow in and through every moment, every obstacle, every challenge. But often when challenges occur, we go to the my way. Perhaps you recall there was a song back in the 60s and 70s, late 60s, early 70s, made popular by Frank Sinatra. And the song was titled My Way. The song describes a sort of end of life lamentation of things that had come up, of challenges that had been faced. And he claims that it doesn't really matter whatever occurred, at least I did it my way. Now, if you know the life of Frank Sinatra, he had his share of challenges. And the song does seem to describe the way in which he faced them. It describes a sense of individuality. And it was a popular song, actually, for some time in celebrations of life for a few people that I knew. But there is, even though there is a sense of satisfaction in the words and in the doing of things my way, the results are often temporary and unlikely to provide lasting peace and security. Doing things my way is centered on meeting obstacles and challenges as a victor or victim, mostly a victor. I will overcome this enemy consciousness. And although that sometimes works, it doesn't take full advantage of the obstacle as a catalyst for growth and transformation. And the victory is generally somewhat temporary. But there is always a higher way in which there is transformation and growth, one in which obstacles are not faced as enemies to conquer, but as blessings to grow through as we allow what is higher in us to direct our way, to shift our perceptions and inspire our actions. And so I ask you, have you faced a challenge or obstacle yourself, or perhaps two or three recently? Or are you facing some challenge or perceived enemy right here, right now? It's hard to imagine that there is anyone who has not had any challenges over the last 2 or 3 months. But regardless of whether your challenges or obstacles are in the past or in the present, you are in the right place this morning, because today we are focusing on choosing the higher way over my way. Whenever we face obstacles in life, we always have a choice. We can be blocked by them and let them stop us in our tracks, or we can use them as stepping stones to express our inherent divinity. So we can turn any impediment, any perceived enemy, any obstacle or challenge into a catalyst for empowerment and transformation. Jesus taught us to love our enemies in this case being the perceived enemy, the obstacle. Doesn't have to be a person. But why would Jesus teach us to love our enemies? It wasn't because it was a nice thing to do, to love our enemies. Jesus knew that there was a healing, harmonizing power in love that transforms. He knew that God is love. He knew that God is love, and that by choosing love, that we align with a higher way, with a divine will. He knew that by choosing love instead of a will or willfulness set for battle, we open ourselves to a higher perspective, to possibilities, and to a higher way of being. Choosing a higher way is aligning with the greater power of divine will. It moves us from a willpower or willfulness, which generally translates to control, to the right use of will directed not by the victor or the victim, but by a vessel consciousness, one that allows God, the higher way, to move through us. And so as we look at this power of will, of divine will, let's look at what the word will means. The dictionary.com describes will as the faculty of consciousness, and especially of deliberate action, the power of control the mind has over its own actions, the control the mind has, it's my way, over its own actions, to decide, to bring about, or to attempt to affect or bring about by an act of will, an act of will. But let's look at what Ernest Holmes has to say about will. He says, will is the conscious directive power of the intellect, and as such has a very important place in the creative order. But in no case is it to be used as though it could force things to happen. Using the will to influence people, and I'll add to that influence anything, is a mistake. The temporary effects of this type of willpower continue only so long as the will forces them to. They have no real life within themselves and must disintegrate as soon as the unnatural force is withdrawn. Will, divine will, is an important piece of the creative puzzle, and it is not to be discredited, and it is not to be misused. Misuse comes when we try to use our will to force an outcome, to force something. And in that event, at best, the outcome we achieve is temporary. Ryan Holiday, the author of a book called The Obstacle is the Way, says that our higher will is our internal power, which can never be affected by the outside world. We often think of will as how much we want something. Actually, the will has a lot more to do with surrender than with strength. True will, divine will, true will is quiet humility, resilience, and flexibility. The other kind of will is weakness disguised as bluster and ambition. So basically what he's telling us here is that divine will is our inner power, the ability to surrender to a higher power, and that the other kind of will is simply a weakness, an ego weakness disguised, as he says, as bluster and ambition, and as force or victor consciousness, I would say. But divine will is an important piece of creative power. And it works best when we allow what is higher in us to direct our way, to flow in and through us. And I want to share with you a true story that Ryan Holiday uses in his book about choosing a higher way or allowing divine will to work through us. And in this story, you will see the ability to have a different perception of the obstacle, the challenge, or the enemy. You will see humility, resilience, and flexibility. And you will see inspired action, allowing spirit to guide the way. You will see a recognition of the creative power of the universe unfolding something new. And the story is about Thomas Edison. And in this story, Thomas Edison is 67 years old and has returned home early one evening from just another day at the laboratory. And shortly after dinner, a man came rushing into his house with urgent news. A fire had broken out at the laboratory, And that was the campus was just a few miles away. Fire engines from 8 nearby towns rushed to the scene, but they were not able to contain the blaze. Fueled by the strange chemicals in the various buildings, green and yellow flames shot up 6 and 7 stories high, threatening to destroy and ultimately destroying the work Edison had spent his entire life developing. And Edison calmly but quickly made his way to the fire and through now hundreds of onlookers and devastated employees. And through it all, he was looking for his adult son. And when he found him, he said, with childlike excitement, "Go get your mother and her friends. They'll never see another fire like this again in all their lives." What? What? Wouldn't you say what? His son said, "What?" He was incredulous. "What are you talking about?" And Edison said, "It's all right. We just got rid of a lot of rubbish in there." Now, there was definitely a little more than rubbish in Edison's buildings. In fact, years and years of priceless records, prototypes, and research were turned to ash. The buildings, which had been made of what was supposedly fireproof concrete, had been insured for only a fraction of their worth. Thinking that they were immune to such disasters, Edison and his investors had only insured them for about a third of the damage. Wow, that is an obstacle, is it not? But Thomas Edison was really remarkable in his reaction, wasn't he? I mean, really, what should he have done? I mean, what would we have done? Should he have wept? Plenty of people would have wept and been distraught. Should he have blamed someone for not turning off a Bunsen burner or whatever the cause of the fire was? He certainly would have been justified in that blame. Or should he have gotten angry at the manufacturers of the fireproof concrete? That would be a common reaction in our litigious society. Or should he have just given up? I mean, he was 67 years old and he'd already done remarkable things. But instead, he told a reporter the next day that he wasn't too old to make a fresh start. He said, "I've been through a lot of things like this. They prevent a man from being afflicted with ennui." Ennui. Now, what does ennui mean? I had to look that up. Ennui means weariness, dissatisfaction, boredom, or complacency. So the obstacles and challenges that come up in our lives can be something good for us. They can prevent us from becoming weary, dissatisfied, bored, or complacent. They are part of our evolution. Now, within about 3 weeks, the factory was partially back up and running. And in a month, it was running 2 shifts a day, churning out new products that the world had not yet seen. And despite a loss of almost $1 million, now today that would be more like $23 million, Edison made nearly 10 million in revenue that year. Now today that would be something like 200 million alone. Edison rightly used the higher way. He rightly used divine will to give the creative power of the universe a chance to rebuild and unfold in a new way. He maintained an empowered perception. This is not a tragedy, but an opportunity. He was humble. It's just rubbish. It's nothing. He was resilient and flexible. I'm not too old. And he allowed divine will to move through him into inspired action. Let's get this up and running again right away. And then this is really big. He faced it with enthusiasm, even cheerfulness. Go get your mother and her friends. They'll never see another fire like this again. Wow. What a way to face an obstacle. Now, your obstacles, whatever you're dealing with today, may or may not be as serious as Edison's, or perhaps they are more serious than Edison's. But they are nevertheless, either way, significant, and they warrant, ultimately, only one response. And it's not just, I'm okay with this. It's not even, I think I feel good about this. But it's, I feel great about this. I feel great about this because if it happened, then it was meant to happen, and I am meant to make the best of it, to grow through it, to be transformed by it, to expand in my expression of spirit in it. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't feel our feelings, because to push our feelings down also blocks our creative power. We can have our emotions, we can feel our sadness, we can feel our grief, we can even feel our anger or our fear. But then we move past that to a place of empowerment, which is really ultimately a place of surrender, isn't it? It's surrender. Charles Fillmore, in his book, The 12 Powers of Man, says this. He says, it is possible for a man to identify his consciousness, for a man to so identify his consciousness with divine mind that he is moved in every thought and act by that mind, that higher way, that higher will. Jesus attained this unity when he realized that he was willing, not in the personal, but in the divine. And he said, not my will, not my way, but thine be done, the higher way be done. Jesus surrenders to a higher way, not to a God in the sky, not to a God outside of himself, but to a higher way of God within. For he said that the Father is in me and the Father is in you, I am in you. God within. We surrender to a God within. And when we do that, it lends new meaning to the word surrender and its synonyms. Yield, which is to give way, is not to give way to the obstacle, but give way to the flow of a higher way. To relinquish is not to give up, but to let go of resistance, to accept what is. To resign is to not to resign to the challenge or the power of something outside of us, but to resign to the power of God within. And to submit is not to submit to a power outside of ourselves or to try to force things to happen, but to submit to the activity of the creative power of the universe. Submit to a higher way, to a divine will being expressed in and through us. Surrender is the ultimate key to choosing the higher way, surrendering the need to control, the need to overcome, and even the need to know exactly what will unfold and how it will unfold. Surrendering is knowing that God knows. And in that, we are assured that all things come together for our good. So let us use our power of divine will in the right way, in the highest way, surrendering to God within, to the all goodness of life. And now, as we come to a close of this spiritual message, and affirming that God knows, and surrendering to this higher way within, I invite you to allow the words of this song by Daniel Nahmad to sum it all up for us.
when things go wrong. It's natural to wonder, what celestial rule did I break? When things go right, it's logical to ponder, what credit can I take? But the truth is so much easier. I don't need a master plan. I can live here in the moment, 'cause my life is in good hands. I don't need to know where the wind blows, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. Well, still I find I'm crying out for answers. Guess I'm still craving control. And still I find I'm afraid of taking chances, as if I could damage my soul. But at this moment I remember it comes so clear to me that the minute I surrender, I'm as safe as I could be. I don't need to know where the time goes, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. Oh, I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go. I can just let go. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. God knows.
Well, thank you to Daniel Namod for that beautiful song, and thank you to Nancy Ingalls for her beautiful music this morning. And to our IT tech, Nick, who has been making these morning services possible through the magic of technology. I hope you've been blessed by the music and the message this morning. And I hope you are feeling a deep connection to a higher way that is continually seeking to move and express through you. And I invite you now to take this opportunity to bless the Spiritual Life Center with your love, your prayers, and if possible, your financial support. Your financial support and love offerings help us to continue this ministry of a unity message of hope in a world that desperately needs hope. So I invite you to join me in our love offering blessing that is on the screen. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And so it is. And if you are contributing a financial gift, there are 3 ways in which you can give your financial support. One is through online giving through our secure website, www.slctroy.com/give. And you should be able to click on a link below our picture this morning that will take you directly to that page. Or you can mail a check or money order to our mailing address, which is 41340 Fox Run Road, number 106, Novi, Michigan, 48377. Or if you prefer, you can call Reverend Ron with credit card information at 248-925-6214. I'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome anyone joining us for the first time this morning and invite you to join our email list by visiting our website, slctroy.com, and clicking on the link at the upper right-hand side that says Join Email. And filling out that form will allow us to keep you informed of events happening here at the Spiritual Life Center. And if you have prayer requests, you can send those to us at ronaldfscott@gmail.com, and we will send your prayer request on to our prayer team as well as Silent Unity. You may also call Reverend Ron with your prayer requests at 248-925-6214. Additionally, Silent Unity is available to pray with you 24/7 at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. And I also have some exciting news. This Wednesday at 7 p.m., July 15th, we will have an evening of music with our SLC band. We're so excited about this. We're so blessed to have these world-class musicians as part of our Sunday experience when we meet live at the Spiritual Life Center. And I know I have missed them during the stay-home order, and I would imagine many of you have as well. So please join us on YouTube, the same link that brought you here today. The concert will be at 7 p.m. and will be followed by a Zoom get-together using the same link as we use for our Sunday coffee hour, our Zoom coffee hour. And all donations for Wednesday evening will go directly to our musicians who have, in many ways, not been able to work during the stay-home orders. So I hope you'll join us for that. And now I'd like to invite you to join our Zoom coffee hour, which begins immediately following the service, right after our benediction and peace song. And you should have received an email with a link for this time of connection. And if not, please contact us at ronaldfscott@gmail.com, and we'll try and get that to you today. Otherwise, simply sign up for the email list and you'll get those links every week. So once again, I thank you for joining us this morning, and I invite you now to sing together our peace song.
peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now as you go forth, know that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you.
The Lord bless thee and keep thee.
The power of God protects you.
The Lord make his face to shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee.
The presence of God watches over you.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and grant thee peace.
Wherever you are, God is.
Amen. Amen.
Go your way rejoicing. All is truly well.